So I wanted to talk about actually the joys of being happy and what it means to actually be happy. I was one of those people who ran in the rat race, did all the things everyone told me to do. I went to college. I worked three jobs when I was in college. I did, an internship with Microsoft. I was the go getter. I was the pusher. I did everything that and then some actually, that I was told to do or thought was needed to do in order to create a path of success for myself, to create this career that I had envisioned. Even in the midst of doing that, I still tried to own my own business. I started my first marketing company when I was promotional company when I was 19. I would do club promotions. At night I would promote and do things in the club, and then I would get home, get ready for my class at 8 o'clock the next morning. Then I would turn around and do things I need to do for my internship for Microsoft. All the while trying to push to get this degree. Not really knowing that a few years later everything would change. That once I actually got involved, once I actually got into the business world and actually saw what it was all about, actually experience the reality of what, a true job it wasn't, what it involved, that my entire mindset would change. It would be an entire shift. I've worked for Shell, I've worked for HP, I have worked for, some really great technology companies, and I have been let go twice. One, whether it was issues with financial things that they had going on. I was the last hired, so, then I was the first to be let go of from the group. And one of the times happened when I was 6 months pregnant. Can you imagine what that's like, being pregnant, 6 months? Your stomach is all rounded out, and you, no matter what experience you have, no matter who you know, what place is going to actually hire you? What do you do in that situation? And it really sucked because I spent all this time in school. I worked my butt off trying to get this degree, trying to make the connections, networking, getting the experience, not having fun in college, not going out to all the parties or hanging out all the time. I wanted to put myself ahead of the curve. And here I am working in this job thinking that, I'm on the right path. I have health insurance. I'm doing everything that's right. And they let me go when I'm 6 months pregnant. And it was the first time that I actually had to be on welfare. I was on food stamps. I was on WIC. I was on Medicaid. And I was completely embarrassed, completely humiliated because I didn't understand how, it was like I was on the right path. I was told, you do these things, you get rewarded, you work hard, you make a living for yourself. Not the other way around, not, hey, expect to possibly be fired, expect to possibly be let go of, expect that when you're 6 months pregnant, you may not have any other option but to depend on the governmental system that you've paid into since you were 16 years old. And it really sucks. It was a harsh reality check. I didn't get a chance. I didn't actually get another job until my daughter was about 7, 8 months old. And I was with that company for a while actually. And then as time progressed, the one thing that I realized is that initially everything sounds good when it comes to different companies. You get in, you work hard, you do the commute, you buy all these good clothes, and you sit behind the desk and you're told do a good job so you can get promoted. And as time progressed and the company changed, I realized I was in the same boat again. I was in the same situation, of dealing with people and circumstances that just didn't make any sense from a day-to-day basis. And I think the only reason beforehand why I didn't really move on it or do anything different is because, I thought it was just, you think it's just a company. And then life happens, you have kids. And when you start spending time away from those kids, when you start not seeing them, when you start missing out on things. You know, I started traveling so much for my job that I didn't see my husband or my daughter for a good 3 weeks. It was literally coming and going all the time. My daughter was having to stay with my mom because of how often I was traveling, and during the week, because of how the hours that my husband was working, we didn't see each other at all either. He was working a 12-hour shift. I'm working during the day, and then I'm traveling out of every month at least 2 or 3 times. So originally, being in college, that was the life I wanted. That was, I wanted to travel. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to be a businesswoman. I wanted to move and shake things up. But then when you get in and you actually realize the crap that you go through, the scheduling, how they take control of your life, and then you start to ask yourself financially, does this really add up? Am I really happy? Does this really make sense? And then I got pregnant with my second child, and went through a lot of complications with the pregnancy. I was in and out the hospital a lot. And I think everything really, really clicked for me when I was about 4 or 5 months pregnant. I had a chronic stress attack. And for those that don't know what that is, a chronic stress attack can sometimes resemble a stroke or a heart attack. And being pregnant, it exasperates the situation even more. So I literally was on the floor shaking, not knowing what was happening to me. My heart was beating like crazy. My left side went numb. And I found out it was due to the stress. I was extremely stressed out with my life and just the circumstances. And I was already in the process of making a change. But that moment was a defining moment to say enough is enough. This can kill me. This can take me away from my family. This can take me away from everything, everyone that needs me. And at that moment, I decided never again. I will never, ever be put into a situation where I'm not happy and where I'm so stressed out due to someone else's schedule, or due to someone else telling me where I need to be and how I need to be and where I need to be ever again. I didn't care what it took. So it was a true defining moment. And the thing is that sometimes things like that have to happen in our life in order for us to make a decision on what really matters. I went to school for marketing, went to school to, do advertisement and marketing, and I'm pretty good at it, I gotta say. Not being conceited, I've taken years to work this craft. I've been in the business to business world for a very long time. But the reality is that me, all those years of going to school, all that time that I spent networking, all those years that, I spent being humiliated in jobs and getting stressed out and, basically being used and used over and over again. Though all I have to show for it, honestly, is a lot of hospital bills, $75,000 in student loans, and, a lot of memories, a lot of lessons learned. But the thing is that now I'm here. I've made a decision. I've decided that my family, my life, my health is more important, and that I am going to be here for them for as long as possible. I will no longer do something that makes me unhappy. I will not go to a day-to-day grind simply because that's what I was told I needed to do. That's what makes other people comfortable. I would rather work 12 hours a day being at home and being happy and finding a way every single day to make our ends meet than ever go to a job ever again. And some people aren't strong enough to make that decision, and that's okay. You have to have your own defining moment. You have to go through something where you say enough is enough. And for me, that was my defining moment. That was, my time where I finally said, I can't do this because it's harming it's beyond harming me. The neurologist came in and said, whatever is stressing you out, you need to get rid of it. The only thing that was stressing me out was my job. Now, it wasn't my family. Everything was contributing to the fact of, you know, my job was contributing to the fact of all of my stress. I wasn't spending enough time with my family. I wasn't, truly seeing them. I'm constantly have my phone going off with emails and people calling me and putting out fires. And, it's like it's an expectation of, if you don't want to work past 5 o'clock, sometimes, you're not really putting in the effort. And then, even when you do get a promotion, financially, it doesn't really add up to much. You get a raise, and then when you really break it all down, you're only making maybe an extra $300 a month. What the heck is that? Gas money? Maybe paying off a bill or something more. But yet, it's the expectation of you doing more and more and more and more until they run you into the ground. And then what do you really have to show for it? All those years that you spent missing with your family and missing the dance recitals, missing the first moments with your kids, and spending that time away from your spouse. It's just not worth that kind of stress. It's not worth it. Sure, what I do is unconventional to some, and that's fine. You may not understand it, you may not get it, you may feel like it's a scam or a scheme. It's totally up to you. But I choose happiness. I choose my family. I choose to be in a place where my spirit is settled and where I am content. And I will never, ever, ever put myself or my family in a position where they physically have to be concerned time-wise how long I'm going to be here, due to me being stressed out based on someone else's situation. Won't ever happen again. So think about that when you go to work next week. Think about that when you are sitting at your desk. Ask yourself, is this really the place that you want to be in 5 years? Is this something that's contributing to your everyday stress? Is your family worth what you're doing right now? Are you happy? Is it making you a better person? Is it making you a worse person? Those are the factors that you really need to consider. And if you genuinely feel in your heart that it's not helping your current situation, change it. That's kind of that simple. I know it doesn't sound like it is, but everything begins with a choice. You made a choice to get that job. You made a choice to, do all the various things that you were doing. You can make a choice to change it. It's just a matter of starting somewhere. And change is scary. Everybody knows that, but change is constant. That is the one thing you can be dependent on in life. Change is constant. So make a decision. What's more important to you? Your happiness, or doing what you've been told to do because you think that's what's right?